All right. Hello, knockouts. Tonya Tko here. And I'm trying to get my lighting right, but for some reason it is not working with me this morning. But because it's super dark, but I have this light on. I don't know, let me see. I don't know what is going. Let me see. I think this is the best that we can do. Maybe if I got anyway, I wanted to follow up. Look, I don't have any more storage space on my phone, so I can't make videos. Good morning. There's a lot more people awake this morning than I thought would have been awake. But hey, oh, have I helped you, Jess Low? Welcome, welcome. I decided to just go live this morning because I was awake. It's early. I see there's a lot of you that are up on a Saturday morning too. I wanted to talk about, hey, good morning, everybody. I wanted to follow up on the video that I did last night because in the video I'm screaming, I'm upset, I didn't want to make the video, and I'm getting a bunch of comments. Good morning, everybody. I'm getting a bunch of comments from people who are a little bit confused by the stories that I told during the video, who are a little bit confused about why I felt the way that I did about the plate of food. Hey, good morning. There's so many of you awake. I would have never expected this. Let me see if I can get my light closer. All right. Now I got the light up on me. Oh, Lord. If you guys could see how I'm in this corner right now. All right. This light is hot too. Whew. All right. So there were people who were confused by the stories. It's still so dark with the amount of light that is on me right now. I think there's an issue with the camera because I think the camera is, hold on, can I? I don't know how to, let's see. I wonder if there's a way to, some of you who do this stuff, I need to know how to brighten this because it's not working with me. Hey from the UK, let me see. Now I can't get this thing off the screen. All right, let's see. Let's see. Hey from the UK. Hey from Chile. Oh, I thought someone was from Chile. She said we're here for a chow. All right. So I am. So let's just. So do you see me well? Okay. So let me move this light back because this thing is so hot. Okay. This is not like my halogen in California. This is a bulb and it is hot. So we got South Korea in the house. No wonder. So people are awake because they're in different parts of the world. All right, so let's jump into the topic. I don't know if you all had a chance to see that video, but I wanted to just follow up because there were some people who were confused by what it was that I was talking about in the video and why I was so upset. And so I want us to have a little conversation, right? Okay. One of the reasons that I was upset in the video is because listen, women control the landscape of population. We control the landscape of what this world looks like. The other day, I was on this show, and in the show, I was talking about, you know, about, how do I put this? About mating strategies for women and how if women really got together, we could change the face of what this world looked like. And some of the men in the audience were upset. They were like, so many people will die. And all I was talking about was mating with men who were at top of their field, top of their class, super intelligent, just mating with the men who had the genes that we want to pass on. Far too often nowadays, we're mating with just anybody. We complain about men being cheaters, but yet we keep passing on the DNA of cheaters. You know what I mean? So Jace just was saying she liked the last video. Okay, so the men were like, oh, so many of us will die. I didn't talk about killing anybody. I just talked about not having certain people's children. And it's like men benefit from your disempowerment. They benefit from your lack of standards, your lack of worth. They benefit from that because more men have access to you. And I'm going to say this because it took some time for me as a woman to come to this conclusion, to understand this, and excuse my dress. Ever since I was fat and happy a few days ago, everything just started. I just started. Everything just. My clothes are falling off of me now. I don't know what's happening. I think being home is I think being back on the East Coast is re-regulating my. I don't know my gravitational pull to the earth. I don't know. Hypergamy is the way that, I'm sorry, Kyera is saying because they're taught that hypergamy is okay. Hypergamy is the way of woman. This is how we are naturally programmed. So I don't know what it is that you've been taught, but let me go on with what it is that I was saying, right? So men benefit from our disempowerment, from our lack of knowledge, from our lack of self love. And I wanted to share this with you because as a woman, it took me some time to come to this understanding. Listen, ladies, you cannot be with everyone. There are millions of men out there. You cannot be with every man who wants to be with you. So, how do you decide who you're going to be with? How do you make Okay. Oh, okay, okay. So Kyra is saying that it's only in the black community that hypergamy is considered being a gold digger materialistic, right? So one day it dawned on me because there was this man who was trying to kick it to me while I was on my way to the subway. He wasn't what it is that I was looking for, needed in a partner. And I attempted to express to him, we just weren't a good match. And it's like he didn't understand how I could tell from his presentation that we weren't a good match. And then he started cussing me. And typically when these men start cussing you, you walk off. No, I walked back. I walked back and I had a conversation with this man. And it's like when you start talking, when you start spitting knowledge to them, an ignorant person doesn't want to hear it. I mean, there are some people in my comment section now who don't understand the purpose of the story that I told about the girl in the basement with the dog feces, right? And I'm like, for those of you who didn't hear the story, you can go watch the full thing. But basically, this guy invited this girl over to his home. He was staying in his mother's basement, and the mother would send the dog. It was winter. The mother would send the dog down to the basement to use the bathroom down there. And there was dog feces and urine around the place. He invited this young lady over. And the young lady sat there with him on this funky futon and proceeded to let this man have intercourse with her. And in this man's mind, he was like, that's how he knew that the girl was down for him. That's how he knew that this girl was a real one and all this other stuff. But mind you, he didn't end up marrying this girl. He didn't end up making a wife or an honest woman out of her. I don't know, is Shah R38? Yeah, he didn't end up making a wife out of her. He just ended up dumping his load into her in a feces funk smell filled basement and then sent her on her way. And so it's like so many of us are that game Limbo with the bar, and it's like you go down low, low, low. That's why I decided to name this video like this. Ladies, how low can you go? I told that story because there were a few people who the story wasn't clicking for. We as human beings, we learn through stories. We learn through storytelling. And so I told that story, and there's some people who it's not clicking for. So let me lecture those people who it's not clicking for. The purpose of that story is not to compare feces basement to the food on the counter with no fork or dishes. The purpose of that story is for us to put two and two together, that there are people out there with many different levels of what they for themselves consider okay or feasible or just all right for their own lives. And they'll take you down into some depths with them. They'll take you into a crap full basement with urine and all this other stuff. They may even have intercourse with you while there are homeless bums around or children nearby or their friends watching or their friends wanting to come in on the act with them. My whole point of that is that you can't leave it up to what somebody else feels is acceptable. Women are taught to take what they can get, especially older women. Listen, listen. Too many women going to the depths, especially black women. Listen, we're taught you're blessed to have a man. Yes, exactly, exactly. And you know what? I'm happy that we have these conversations. Somebody commented on the video that she doesn't like it when I make videos saying that I didn't want to make the video. And there are some videos that I don't want to make. However, making them and having the conversation is an exercise for me. It stretches me outside of my comfort zone, and it allows me to really develop my thoughts, because if I don't get these things out loud and we don't have the conversation, I don't get a chance to really flesh out my thoughts. And one of the things that dawned on me recently, because I get a lot of people who are like, that's why you don't have a man, Tonya. You single, you single. And in making that video about being single, because I never talked about that before, but in making that video about the shaming of women, I reached this epiphany, and I now have the question inside of me, right? For these people, how would my life be better? Tell me, because they're like, that's why you're single. So I want to know, how would my life be better if I were coupled with a man who, just any man, or a man who wasn't the right match? How would that make my life better? It's like, and I would love, hey, good morning, good morning. I would love for one of those people who say that. I'm waiting for the opportunity to ask them that question. From where it is that my life is right now, how would my life be better if I were coupled up in the wrong relationship? And so it's like, for far too many of us, like you said, we're taught, oh, just have any relationship, just have any man. And we don't think about what the quality of our lives are right now. There were some women who commented on the video. Now, I'm not going to get the same type of comments that some people get around the web, where the women are like, oh, this thing. They know better than to come out on my videos talking foolishness like, oh, y'all gold diggers, it's just that and the other, right? But there were some women who came out very intelligibly and were like, I would buy him some plates. The type of woman that I am, this is a teachable moment, etc., etc. And the issue, I would say, is the issue really the plates? Or is it all of the things surrounding what led up to him giving you a trough to eat out of? I was very serious when I was like, do you want to just take the handle of the bucket and just put it over your head and just eat it that way? Listen, people have a lot of different standards out there. So I'm like, you guys are so funny. Hey, War Anarchy, how are you? Good morning, everybody. Good morning. And so I'm like, there's a lot of different people with a lot of different standards out there. And the issue the plates? Or is the issue, listen, see, this is the thing. This is the thing. We as grown women, it's like, from what it is that I want for my life, for where it is that I'm going, I need a partner who at least has I'm sorry, no, I'm not even going to shortchange myself. I need a man who has more than the basics. More than the basics. So if a man at this stage, if a man has a place where he is living and he has no plates, no forks, there's something going on with that man. And oh, maybe he's autistic. Maybe he's on the spectrum. I don't know. But then you have to ask yourself as a woman, what type of life do you want to live? What type of life do you want to lead? Are you interested in the type of lifestyle with a person that is on the spectrum, or just out of the halfway house, or wherever it is, or who doesn't have a parent, a friend, who's never been to a restaurant? This man don't know say you need plates. He doesn't know you need forks. That they're both going to be eating off of the same spoon. And I'm not saying this is an ethnic dish. Somebody compared it to Ethiopian meals where you eat with your hands. And you know what? And I'm going to catch up with all of the comments that are coming through, because it's like if I'm talking and the comments are coming up, I can't really do both, all of it at the same time. But I'm like, this is not an Ethiopian meal where you have the bread where you roll the food up. We're talking about spaghetti. Oh God. And we're talking about a person who it's not their culture not to have plates. So we're talking about a man who is so low down on the basics of taking care of himself that he doesn't realize that you gotta have forks, that you have to eat like a human being. So it's like, how do I expect for you to help me get to the next level? Listen, somebody asked, just listen, and I wrote a long comment to this person who asked, and you know what, and I'll ask you all in the audience, because I don't know how many of you saw the video that I did where I finally had New York pizza after 3 years, and I was sitting there eating it, and I was enjoying, oh God, it was so good. I was enjoying it. And the person was like, well, how can you eat all those starches and carbohydrates, but you have a problem with this? You call this death on a plate. You know, it's like where it is that I am in my life, the type of lifestyle that I want to lead. It's like this man, not only, listen, first of all, I'm vegetarian. You could tell from my skin that I'm living the good life. I mean, just internally, you can tell, right? Because I have on no makeup this morning. I washed my face before I did this. And so it's like, if I get into a situation with this person, how much am I going to have to teach this person? Is this man going to be, before we get into that, if I don't remember, I want to remember, come back to juicing, right? Let me ask you all this question. What do you think this man who doesn't have plates, let's ask first, what do you think his intestines looks like? With the food, the type of food that he's eating, what do you think his body looks like? What do you think his body odor is like? What do you think? Do you think he cleaned that chicken? Do you think he cleaned the chicken? The man doesn't have plates. Do you think he cleaned the chicken? What do you think the inside of his toilet looks like? What do you think that looks like? What do you think the floor of his shower looks like? What do you think his bed looks like? The man doesn't have plates. What do you think his mattress looks like? So you have to ask yourself these questions. Is it really about, just ask yourself these questions. So it's like, okay, so this man is living the type of lifestyle where he thinks it's okay to invite a person on over that he has a crush for on. And then in terms of eating pizza, if there were a man, listen, I love New York pizza. If a man who were attempting to impress me invited me over to his home, and in his home he had some box of New York pizza thrown down, and we don't have a relationship where he's doing this as this treat for me, where he has established enough of the type of lifestyle that he has to offer for me, that he then, presents this pizza because he knows, oh, Tonya hasn't had New York pizza in 3 years. That's a much different story than a man that's crushing on me. I come over to his place and there's some presentation with no fork or knife, no spoon, nothing, no plates. So let's go back to juicing, right? So I have to ask myself, okay, I go into a situation with a person who doesn't have plates, who's eating, who thinks that an impressive meal is chicken wings on a newspaper, spaghetti in a vat, and some yeasty rolls, right? Some yeast rolls, right? And I have to ask myself, is this the type of man who's going to get up in the morning and juice for me? Is that, do you think that that's the type of man who is going to get up and juice for your girl? Is he? If he's eating that type of stuff, what type of push and pull are we going to have in this household when he wants to? I'm just going to leave that alone. I'm going to leave that train of thought, and I'm going to start looking through the comments now, because I'm going to get out of this video because we've been talking for 20 minutes and I want to be able to get the video up and get, comments and interact that way. So we guys, we got people talking about E. coli, eating with the hands, not sanitary, big up sister, lazy, yummy, dirty. Okay, so Kaya is saying the issue is that the man who made that meal didn't value the girl. A man who values and holds you up to a certain respect wouldn't give you that. But this is what I'm saying. And somebody said, would he present that meal to Beyonce? And I'm like, we're thinking the same way. I don't know if this person has ever heard my videos that I've done in the past where these men are presenting this stuff. And there's a part of me that feels like, they're presenting it to you because of what it is that they think of your station in life as a black woman. And so it's like, people talk about burnt chicken now. You all are so silly. So, and so War Anarchy is saying, do people really get pizza on a first date? And you know what? Listen. If we have the conversation and I'm like, I want pizza for the first date, that's very different than a man preparing a meal. Because there will be, listen, a first date is really to get to know one another, right? I don't have a and I'll say this, and I'm glad that you brought that up. Me personally, I don't have a dollar amount for a first date. I don't, that's not how I operate, right? However, the dating process is definitely a process where a person presents what type of lifestyle you can expect with them. So for some people, for certain circumstances and certain situations, pizza may be a wonderful gesture, depending on what it is that you think about pizza, determining where this pizza came from, determining what is the purpose of the date. Listen, with a lot of the internet dating that's going on nowadays, I don't expect people to spend $100 per date. I'm not expecting that, right? What I am expecting is some sort of communion between the two people going out where they have I don't want to say an understanding. Let me think of what it is that I'm trying to say. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Huh. Because you know what? It's not the money. It's not the money. And I'm trying to think, have I ever been out for pizza on a first date? I've not been out for pizza on a first date. However, I have had inexpensive first dates because it's like you don't want to get all caught up in hanging out with someone who you may not want to spend the whole afternoon with. I've hung out with and listen, I've learned from that, right? Because I've hung out with a person who did not look, he was about 10, 15 years older than his photograph. He was about 10 or 15 years older than his photo when he arrived. And so I've learned I'm doing video chat. If I ever like do online dating again, I'm doing video chats before we meet up. I just look, I don't want to be held into some long 3-course meal if the vibe is not right. So I can understand people wanting to have a meet or greet. Somebody mentioned that earlier. Yes, I can understand people wanting to have a meet or greet, right? And Maria's saying, I don't want someone spending a lot if I'm not feeling them. And that's the thing too. A clean, sanitary place to eat a meal, a $10 meal at the Caribbean restaurant isn't bad. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that it's not a money thing. However, it's a consideration thing. It's a connection thing. It's a vibration thing. And also, it's not being lazy. Try something different. Try something new. Do something different. Like go to Groupon. And for the same amount, because like a large pizza in New York, $25, depending on where it is that you go, maybe even more than that. But let's say $25 for a large pizza in New York. For the same $25 on Groupon, you can have wine and painting. I don't think you could do paintball, and I don't think you want to do paintball on a first date. You shooting your date and bruising them up. No, 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 no. But you can go to a trampoline place, you can go to a gym, you can do rock climbing. Go to Groupon. Look and see some of the different things that you can do on a first date. So it's not the money thing. It's an imagination thing. It's an effort thing. It's a connection thing. It's what you think of yourself and what you think of this other person thing. So it's like there's so many different things that go along inside there. We're gonna get out of here. There are almost 100 people on this broadcast, which is my most ever, especially for a 7 a.m. in the morning. So wait, somebody said I'm acting bougie. Hold on. It ain't just you funny. You funny. Because you don't want to eat at a community kitchen. So it's like I'll sum this up and then I'll read comments for the last few minutes. Stacy is saying food trucks are always really fun too. I don't know about the food truck. Where you gonna eat? So for a person like you, food truck is all right. For a person like me, I ain't down with the food truck. I ain't down with that. On a first date, we're gonna pull up on the curb, and unless we in another country, I ain't down with it. So I think, like I said, it's a vibration thing. I ain't eating outside near the park either. I ain't doing it. I ain't doing it. I ain't doing it. Not for a person like me. Because you know what? So this is the thing. Okay, let's walk and chat. That means I'm wearing sneakers on the date. I'm wearing sneakers and sweats. If you want to take me out on a walking date, I'm wearing sneakers. I'm wearing some sweatpants. You know what I'm saying? So money bags is saying that okay, people like that. That's cool. Okay. There's a difference between being on your break from work and going on a date. So I don't know what you're talking about, money bags. So Shara is saying you better take me to a restaurant indeed. And then 428 is saying bird droppings all around the park. Listen, and so you know what? So this is the thing. And I think that there's a push pull. There's a balancing act that goes on. So like I said, if we going on a walk around date, I'm wearing hats. I ain't putting on no foundation. I'm putting on some sneakers, and I'm coming. I may even come with my hair looking like this. You know what I'm saying? Because you guys see, I don't have a problem making a video without my hair done. So I will come out on that date looking just like this and be like, yeah, okay, let's go to the food truck. This is how I'm going to look. With my crack jaw. Oh, gosh. Oh, gosh. And Ayana say, I think women should be careful about dating below what they can afford for themselves. Don't date below your standard. Ayanda, I'm happy that you're on this broadcast. The words that are floating through my mind are insulting, so I'm going to try to think of a politically correct way to say this. Ladies, please stop being fooled. We are hypergamous by nature. Stop trying to date men who are at your level and below. Date men who are at your level and above. Date a man who can take you to a place that you can't afford to go. Date a man who is generous. Stop trying to be men. Stop trying to come with the masculine energy of, I'm going to have the same amount of money as a man. Attempt to date a man, because you know what? Because whoever the person was who said that, I forgot your name, it slipped out of my mind. That means you could never be with a billionaire then. That means you can never be with a millionaire, because you'll shortchange yourself and be like, well, I shouldn't go out with this millionaire because I can't afford the things they could. No, stop being foolish. Stop being foolish. Ladies, stop letting these males convince you. Listen, talk if you want, listen, you don't have to listen to me. Talk to your fathers. Date a man who has more money than you. Date a man who is generous. Part of the problem that I see that happens, and I'm glad you brought that up, because far too many women are settling for men who have what it is that they have or below, just so they could be like, well, if I go out with a man, I want to be able to make sure I could afford the food if he can't pay. If he can't pay, you grab your lipstick, you head towards the bathroom, and you walk out the damn side door. That's what you do. If he can't afford to pay for the food, listen, the restaurant is not expecting you to pay. You leave him right there. Once he starts yimmering and yammering, oh, I don't this, that, and the other, you say, oh, a moment, please. Where's the ladies' room? And you grab your purse and you say, oh, just, and then as he's watching you walk away, you walk out the damn side door. I didn't have, listen, I've left two men in restaurants before. Two. And I don't regret it. I leave them sitting right there. Listen, we still live listen, take advantage of the double standard while you can, because the restaurant people were not looking for me to pay. I don't know what happened to them on them because I left. I don't play those games. I don't play those games. This is what I'm saying. I listen. I look. I don't know what happened to them. I did not speak to them again. I remember there was one guy. I was in my 20s. The dude came to pick me up, and he decided that he wasn't going to open my car door for him. Car door for me. I was like, mm-mm, mm-mm. And then what ended up happening? I'm not even going to bother to tell that story. I'm not even going to bother to tell that story because you all are going to think I messed up. But you all are going to think I messed up. But the thing is that we can't let other people define our worth. We can't let we can't let other people tell us what we should and should not stand for. And far too many of us women are duped and living underneath the guise and the direction of men who they themselves don't know what the HE double hockey sticks they're doing. They don't know what the hell they're doing. And so we're being led by men who don't know. Who don't know. So there are people who are saying their man opens car doors. Miriam is saying, I love the way you see things. People think I'm a gold digger because I don't play those games either. And what's the matter with being a gold digger? It's like he wants a young, beautiful, plump, and fertile woman who will be there looking beautiful by his side. All right. These things cost money. It's like, this is what I'm saying. Do you want me to come out on the date with sweatpants on? You take me on some date where we're picking up some food truck. What do you think I'm wearing to this date? I'm sorry. I'm not even going to put concealer under my eyes. I won't even paint on my eyebrows. I won't do it. I will show up just like this. And when he's like, oh, why, why you not putting no effort, baby? I'll be like, why you not putting no effort? So yes, so yes, so yes. Listen. So Lady B is saying I went on a date once. He just wanted to eat in the park. I thought I'll run with it to see where his mind is at. Let's just say he would laugh when I said I'm looking for a gentleman. Okay. All right. Exactly. Somebody saying, hello, come on. Look at the faces of waiters. Preach, my sister. The sky is the limit. Somebody saying I'm savage. How am I savage? I don't understand. I'm a doctor. I've realized dating male doctors makes them think they have to put in little effort. Exactly. You know what? Listen, I don't even do the doctor thing anymore. Man tells me he's a doctor, and I'm thinking, God, you're jaded. I don't, because you know what? We women, we're so desperate nowadays. And Lee is saying, thank you for waking us up to have higher standards. Someone saying, stay in your role, ladies. It was a joke. You're right. Haha, I love you in your mind. Thank you for helping me love myself a little bit more. And with depression, I really struggle with. I thank you for your videos. Well, thank you for your comment, because sometimes I feel like I feel like people just not really hearing me. Wait, Marie, I kind of like lawyers. Because you know what? I love a good debate. I love a good debate. So I actually, I like the lawyers. I like the lawyers. I'm not really too much into the doctors, because doctors, what ends up happening with them is they get into the profession and they're so happy and they're jovial and they go to save lives. But then by the end, they don't even care if they're taking lives. You know what I'm saying? So Tahira, this is your first live. Yeah, yeah, we have more than 100 people on the broadcast. I didn't know so many people would be up. I thought I would come in, make a quiet video, and jump back out. And so Tanya is saying that the attorneys don't feel like they have to put in effort. And so Shanti is saying the game won't change until we do. I like attorneys though. Really? Oh, I like attorneys. Let me think. Let me think. You know what? I guess you know what. I'll say this because the attorney I kind of kicked it with two attorneys. One was Caucasian, and this was in my 20s, but he was it wasn't a good deal. It wasn't a good deal, and we didn't really speak very long. We met down in the Wall Street area, but we didn't really speak very long. And you're right, he didn't really want to put in very much effort. But I think he had a whole family or something, because like warning signs came up, and I was just like, I just cut it off before it went any further. And the other attorney that I dated, he was Igbo. And it was a wonderful experience for me. It was wonderful. The biggest issue is that he was very religious, and he was Seventh-day Adventist religious. And we went to a service, and I was sitting there. I ain't the right woman if you want to have a church type family. I ain't the right woman for that. I ain't the right woman for that, because I was sitting there listening to these people talking about hell and damnation, and I was just like, mm-mm. Oh, I got my Igbo sister in the building. Because I don't know if you can tell from my face that I'm Igbo, but yeah. Oh my gosh, yes, we were in church for a really long time that day. And hey Lulu, I have all my Niger people on the line today. Yes, yes, bup in the house. You know what? That's one of the things that I've been finding with African men. Some of the Nigerian men that I've dated have not been, because after my lawyer relationship with the Igbo guy, I realized I can't do it. I have to have a man who is non-religious, I have to. I can't deal. I'm not the person to be sitting up there in a church, and I don't want my children indoctrinated into that. I do not. And so Shanti is saying men have become very lazy because we've put up with it. You know what? I've gone out with only one Yoruba guy. His name was what was his name? Oh, I forget his name. But this Igbo guy, he was, I'm not Igbo, this Yoruba guy, his father was like a diplomat or something. This guy had so much money. And he had a little car with the, I think they're called suicide doors. He had a little sports car. We went out on a date. And when we went on the date, we went to this restaurant, right? And and I was young at the time. I was in my 20s, and because I was still in Atlanta at this time, I was still at college, right? And and so I asked him to go get me some more drink, right? So I'm sitting there all cute and everything, I'm sitting there all cute with my little outfit on, out on this date with this guy. And I asked him to get me some more drink. And he was like, he was just a kind of, and he got up and he went and he got the drink and he came back and he sat back and he looked at me and he said, in my country, you would be the one getting the drink for me. And I was like, oh, I was like, really? I was like, is the game twisted? Is it backwards? And then I was like, oh, I didn't know. I was like, oh, and then good morning, everybody. And then we left from that date, and we didn't really say much to each other. He opened my door for me. I got in. He dropped me off, and we really didn't speak very much after that. And when I was in, where was I? I think I was in Panama. Yes, I was in Panama. I was hanging out with this couple who they were from, I don't remember which part of Africa they were from, but it was somewhere, it was somewhere on the west, either the northwest or the southwest. It was somewhere in that region. And this young lady, she claims that this was her brother. I told you guys this in a video. I told you guys this story, half of the story. I didn't tell you the whole story in the video because they were black, African. and we were cooking in the hostel for everybody. Like she would, like the size of pot of rice of food that this girl would make, it was too much for just three people. So we had to share with the whole hostel. And so she claims that this man was her brother, but there was something about the vibes between them that didn't really seem brotherly and sisterly. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is, but they didn't seem brotherly and sisterly. My take is that I think she was his woman, but they were looking for some citizenship. There was something about it that just didn't seem right between them, right? But I think that they were looking, I think she was pimping him for some citizenship. And let's see, after being single for years isn't only survival to lower your standards. Somebody's saying that's a big region. Listen, it is a big region. I don't know. But I'm just saying they were from that. They were not from the north. They were not from the east. They weren't from the middle. They were from the west. The north. They were from like either somewhere in the little hook around there to down there. Not that big of a region, just from the little hook to down there. Somewhere from Cote d'Ivoire to Angola. Somewhere between there. I know it's a, I know, I know, I know. But anyway, so I think that they were really kind of looking for some citizenship for him. So she was just kind of staying in the background. And so she waited on him hand and foot. And I was like, this is ridiculous, right? So I was like, we just did all of this cooking. Let the man wash a dish. And she was like, no, I cannot. I cannot. I cannot. The girl nearly pushed me down to get to the sink to wash the dish so that the man would not let his hands touch water. And I was like, really? I was like, really? So, Angel, let's see. More and more women are lowering their standards, which then becomes the new norm, which makes it hard for women with standards. Ayanda saying the church makes women pick me women. Ugh. Somebody say keep doing these live streams. And so Jem is saying some Puerto Ricans still serve their men like that. But you know what? So then what we did was we allowed we allowed the man, because I had to stop this woman from serving the boy, the man. And so we allowed him to wash dishes. And here go this guy. Let me grab a piece of, let me grab something. All right. So this is the sponge, right? This is the sponge. And this is him. This is him washing the dish. This is him. Dropping it. And here he go. With no soap on the thing. And then so we're like, there's no soap on it. So then we get a little, so then he's like, oh, so he put a little soap on there. And then he's like, oh, please, I need help. Please help me, I need help. And I was like, really? Really? So then she was like, oh God, Tonya, please let me help him. Please, oh God, Tonya. And I was like, really? She was like, oh God, he needs help. And I was like, this is a grown man. This is a grown man. If he could wash a tire, he could wash his dish. I just I was like, sometimes people and then he was like trying to put the plate inside the rack with food on it, not even rinsed off properly. And I was like, listen, this is a grown man. He can do this. And she was like, Tanya, please. Tanya, please. And I was like, and then so after he washed the dishes, she went and she put them all back inside the sink and washed them all over again. And she was just telling him, just sit down and relax. And she was like, this is just my way. I can't help it. And I was like, okay. I mean, what can you do? So when you guys, So you guys are like Yoruba. I haven't dated. That was the only Yoruba guy that I went out with. For some reason, Igbo men. We just have this thing. I just love Igbo men, and they love me. And so, Spottable is saying, "What a naive doormat," and Deity is saying, "I don't go to church. I'm the temple, so church doesn't concern me. God does not dwell in a temple." Mad of hands. My goodness. And then he did that on purpose. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Do it badly so that they won't ask. And so someone is saying, if you have these issues with Nigerians or Africans, why do you recommend them to black ladies? And I'm so happy you asked that. That's a really good question. And I'll say this, right? Let me see who asked that question. Aunt Nam. So listen, Aunt, there are different people. It's like just coming from a continent, coming from a country doesn't make you a certain way. Everybody's raised in a different household, everybody's raised in a different family, everybody has something, everyone is different. So, what I was talking about in this video, where I was talking about find you a black man from another culture, I'm talking about a person who is more marriage minded, who is who has it naturally ingrained in them to be a protector, provider. Now, those are the base. So let's talk about a canvas. So if you're going to paint a painting, and I'm like, listen, you need to get a canvas that is 24 by 36. That's the very base beginning. Once you do that, it's up to you to find a person who you can paint the type of picture you want with. So Ayanda is saying African men are not as good as they seem outside. Oh, maybe in American they behave, because in Africa we have 4 year old grown men. Listen, and so War Anarchy is saying date a Guyanese man with the fist bump. Listen, now I've not dated an African man on the continent. I've only dated African men in America who have come through the filter of either being born in Africa and raised in an African household, but in America. I think for a person like me, that is more feasible for a person like me. One of the things that I have also noticed is that there's a difference between African men who were born in Africa and who were raised here versus African men who were raised here. Because one of the things that I see is that there's this fight between the culture at home and the westernized culture. And they can be just like some of these American men in terms of the laziness, in terms of dating and not wanting to put forth the effort. I saw him speaking the other day. I don't know who you're talking about. So let me see who. Oh wow, there's more than 140 people on here. And Queen Butterfly is saying African men want visas. Akon. I'm an African, and most African men will use American women. 99% of them will marry African women. Majority will use American women for green card. Just saying. Well, you know what? This is why it's important to, when you're dating a person, Sierra Leone, this is why when you're dating a person, that you really get to know this person, that you ask the tough questions, that you make sure that you have a vibe with this person, and that you vet this person. And if this person is undocumented, you do what it is that you need to do to be sure. There's an extra added level when the person is not documented. I would say, listen, out of all of the Nigerian men that I've dated, only one was undocumented. And this man was wealthy. Gosh, I miss those dinners, Lord. We used to eat at some of the best places. This is why when this girl is like, "Oh, I don't date a man who doesn't have more money than me," you must be crazy. You must be crazy. This the food. Ooh, you want to talk about? just delicious food. Like he had so much money, and money was never a thing for him, but he didn't have his papers. He didn't have his papers. And you just have to be aware. You just have to be aware. So it's like, okay, and there was a part of me, you have to listen to your instincts. There was a part of me that felt like he had a family back home. And so there was a part of me that felt that he had a family back home and that he wanted papers. I mean, this is a risk. Why didn't I marry him? Listen, there was a part of me that felt that he had a family back home. We talked about it, and I asked him straight up. I asked him straight up. And he said that he did not. He said that he was single. And and then it got to the stage where he wanted me to talk with his mom and all this other stuff. But I was just like, with him, he you know what? And the thing is, he still hits me up. He still hits me up, but I just I don't know. There's a part of me that now that I'm in New York, I'm thinking about hitting him up. Something. I was gonna say for food, but the meals that we went on were so good. You know what? You guys gonna make me contact him now. But yeah, Tanya is saying, be careful, Tanya, with African men. No, you be careful with American men. You be careful with American men. Look, I'm gonna contact him. I'm gonna contact him. Watch, and I'm gonna take pictures and look for it on Instagram. I'm gonna contact him because listen, especially since especially since he's motivated by papers, because he needs citizenship. So what can I do? You know what I'm saying? What can I do? But go out with him and let him court me. Maybe he can convince me to marry him for papers. Let's see. Let him put forth his best effort. Let him. I can eat all. Listen, impress me. Let me see. Impress me. Show me some stuff. Okay? Let's go to the Waldorf. And because they have these restaurants. Listen, ladies, if you're not dating men with money, you are missing out on some of the world's most exquisite meals. When he and I went out, I was eating chicken at the time, and he took me to this place with this chicken that underneath the skin of the chicken, it had been marinated in truffles and some sort of cheese. Oh, God help me, Lord of mercy, Lord. It was like under the skin, it had been marinated with truffles, and then they sauteed it. It was like the skin was crispy, and underneath the skin, it was like this bouquet of just rosemary and truffles, and it was just, oh God. Oh, and then it had like these mashed potatoes. Oh, God of mercy. You guys are gonna make me call him. Well, I don't know. You guys, he hit me up on Instagram, and I just kind of brushed him off because I know what he want. But I hope he know what I want too. He want marriage and citizenship because listen, this is what his issue is. His issue is that he has a lot of money. He has a lot of money he's from Nigeria. He's a developer. He has a lot of money, but he can't buy the type of land that he wants to buy and develop because he wants to develop an apartment building. He wants to develop apartment buildings. This man, listen, when we went out, everywhere we went, he was like tipping $100 here, $100 there. It was like, I was just like, ooh. And for some reason, he is just like head over heels for your girl. But we don't know if it's real. So this is why. Listen, Kevin, the food was good. The food was good. Oh God, it was good. The food was good. Lord have mercy on me. So, but we know he wants papers. He wants papers. I want food. I'm gonna get a lot more food before he ever gets papers. Yeah, he was the man had money. He has a lot of money. He has a lot of money. You guys are going to but now see now I understand the dilemma that men have when their testicles start quivering and they need to go out and get satisfied because my belly is leading me towards this man. What am I supposed to do? I'm hungry. I'm hungry for good food. Listen, listen. Okay, we didn't went off into a whole other topic. We done went into a whole other topic here. Let me calm myself, people. And people, you guys are talking about astrology. Oh, so Jem understands, and Keely is saying, "Girl, go eat." You know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna contact him. I'm gonna contact him. Only thing is I don't have pretty clothes and stuff like that. Cause you wanna when you go out and you want to like I don't have pretty clothes here in New York. I haven't had pretty clothes in years. Cause when I left New York, I went right into the displacement. And now I'm all chunky now. Like I don't have pretty clothes. And Ob is saying, I need a woman who will cook me breakfast, then clean dishes, and then wash my car, clean the house, and cut the grass. You know what? I'm going to upload this video that I did a response to called The Perfect Novia. 123 Creations saying he wants papers. I want food. Yes. So you know what? Listen, and I'll say this, right? Spottable is awful. Ah, guys. So no, I'm going back to Los Angeles in January. So listen, right? Is papers the worst thing that a person can need? I mean, there are people who need citizenship. When my father came to this country, he wasn't an American citizen. So it's like we look at this whole it's like you have to look at the whole picture. We have to look at the and Toya saying I tried dating American men. I couldn't. My African men have spoiled me. You know what I'm saying? Listen, you do get spoiled. Like you see, I haven't had food like the food that man spoiled me with. And the best part about it is he had so much money that when he saw my business, he wasn't intimidated by my business or the fact that I was making money because he was making so much money. And we used to talk about money. We used to talk about the what it is that he wants to develop and all of this other stuff. But see, listen, I wouldn't so listen, is so I'm gonna ask you all this question and then we're gonna get out of here. We only have 2 more minutes and then we're getting out of here because this video is almost an hour. Is papers the worst thing that a person can want? If a person is really truly or if papers that a person can need, is that the worst thing that they can need? Because if like a person like him with all of that money who wants to develop apartment buildings but he needs citizenship, if this man really truly cared about me, if he really truly cared about me and was really truly down for me and we had like this connection, right? And we had like this connection that was unbreakable. Sure, I would marry him, but we didn't have a connection that was unbreakable. He was no, the food was good. The food was good. So J8 is saying no because he's in a financial situation to provide a great lifestyle of a wife. And so War Anarchy wants me to start a business, do a video about starting. And Aunt is saying about the food again. The food was good. Oh God, we went to some of the. Oh, you know something? That food was good. So no, but he. This is what I'm saying. You have to find. Listen. Little Flower saying, give him the paper and get some food. You have to find a person who is a good match for you. For where it is that I was in my life at that time, the food, the dates, that was one thing. He was one of those African men who was trying to put a rush on me. He like wanted to rush to the sex phase because I think that men know about the oxytocin. Once they hook you with the sex, then you stay with them and then they can start doing whatever. My spirit did not take him. My spirit did not take him. And he's not marriage material. but I do enjoy a good meal, and I will. You know what? It would be. Listen, why can't he just pay for citizenship? Yeah, I hope he has by now. And so Tanya's saying, please, he will get the papers and change. I couldn't risk it. Nope. And Tahira is saying, I have to go cook now. Yes, Spottable said, get your food, Tanya. A lot of American black men get married because they know the girl can provide. Listen. So on that note, listen, we are at 59 minutes, so I'm going to get out of here. I will see you all in the comments. Make sure that you watch and share. If you're in New York, come out and see me on the 22nd. And I will see you guys in the next video, all right? Tanya TKO, and I'm out. Go out there and love one another, but most importantly, what? Love yourself, all right? And listen, I don't have a problem marrying a man who really truly loves me, who I feel in my spirit is going to be there for me. I got to get out of here before the end of the hour. Okay, bye.